Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Adam. You're watching Unlimited Options Investing. Where is the stock market going? And this is the most important chart you should be looking at, which is the NASDAQ 100. And as of Friday on the close, we had a nice little green candle over here. Is this a sign for things to come? Or is it just going to be a fake out and it's going to be a bull trap and we're going to start going more down from here? So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard and hit that subscribe button. Here on Unlimited Options Investing, we talk everything from stocks, crypto, options, ETFs, and we're investing for the long term. As always, smash that like button. So the NASDAQ, which is primarily made up of Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, not in that order. So those ones make up the bulk of the NASDAQ 100, but we also have another like 95 companies that make up the rest of the 60% of the entire index. But primarily by those big technology companies. And for the most part, Friday was a good day. A lot of people were expecting us to touch this 20 EMA or this 50 EMA, and that very well may happen, depending on what the first few trading days of this week looks like. We also have on Thursday Thanksgiving, or American Thanksgiving here in Canada. We have ours in October, but I believe this week is American Thanksgiving. So on Thursday, that's going to happen, and the stock market is going to be closed. However, here on the Canadian side, we're still going to be open. And usually going into a holiday, stocks tend to do a little bit better. That's usually into the long weekends though, but that doesn't necessarily have to hold true whatsoever, but just something to keep into consideration. The statistics of holidays and seasonality and whatnot. But nevertheless, we're seeing exactly what we thought was going to happen about a week ago. Because we were reaching the top of this ascending channel, which we have respected very nicely over the past year, that we were most likely going to see some kind of downturn, but how deep and how fast, we have no idea. We had critical resistance points. For example, the top of this area over here could have been a nice resist turns into support at around 385 as well. That aligns very nicely with the 20 EMA, and you also have the 50 EMA right below that just in case. But however, that may not happen depending on Monday and Tuesday. If we get some kind of consolidation, we might be primed to continue making new all-time highs. But if we get any kind of weakness, we have to take a look at those critical support lines that we just mentioned. Taking a look at the S&P 500, so similar kind of idea as we had a nice green candle over here. We still are pretty disconnected from that 20 EMA, but during these runs over here, we see that we are disconnected for quite a while until we aren't, and then we pull back a little bit. So we still have some room to pull back, but if we get some kind of consolidation and those moving averages catch up, maybe we're going to be consolidating in this area over here. By that point, the ascending channel has so much more room above it that we have more room to run. So again, just be prepared for whatever may potentially occur. And taking a look at the Dow Jones, we're still pulling back from those all-time highs toward, again, the 20 EMA, previous resistance, which could be support, and the 50 EMA. Looking at the IWM, similar kind of idea. However, we did climb up a little bit on the Friday, and if you're looking to get into a short-term trade, if it reaches the top of the channel or the 50, that could be an excellent place to start positioning into a potential trade with the IWM. The FAANG index, and no surprise, it looks very similar to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ because they make up so much of both indices. Again, I wish it was Microsoft instead of Netflix, and we had a very green day actually entering the top channel over here, and it touched nicely the 20 EMA. A lot of very interesting factors to take into consideration, like the dollar, for example. This one has been climbing over the last few sessions, especially because of all the hot inflation numbers that have been coming out, which is weird to see the stock market doing well as well as a dollar index, and we'll see in a second, as well as precious metals, all three doing well at the same time is a little bit odd. Usually stocks and precious metals go against the dollar, but I mean, what makes sense these days? But the dollar index has just been grinding higher, respecting that 20 EMA and the 50 as well. Taking a look at the VIX, we had a little bit of a spike earlier this week, which we were kind of anticipating, and it looks like it's coming down a little bit, so depending on how volatile the next few trading sessions are going to be, whether it's a bull trap or not, will depend on what the VIX is going to look like as well. The 10-year yield looks like it could be heating up a little bit, recovering, and that makes sense because of all the inflation. I've been watching a lot of YouTube, CNBC, other YouTubers that are all saying the same kind of message, that they're surprised that this isn't already higher because of all the hot inflation that we're seeing. So that just leads me to believe that it's most likely coming, that we're going to be seeing 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, and then perhaps 2. But we still have to get there, but I'm still preparing for that because if it does happen, that'll put a lot of pressure on big technology and the NASDAQ primarily. And looking at the put-call ratio, we're still toward the call side of things, so we're still looking at a little bit of greed, and that can be backed up as well. Looking at the fear and greed index, we're still in extreme greed. So even though we were down for the week, the S&P 500 down 0.53% and the NASDAQ down almost 1%, we're still in extreme greed. So I know 1% isn't that much to move the needle. It is something that we have to take into consideration. We can be greedy for a long time, and we can be fearful for a long time. So sometimes in the short term, being a little bit extra greedy or a little bit extra fearful can go a long way into your gains, but it's very hard to predict that. Taking a look at gold, and this one has broken out. I did mention this on the channel right before it did, and then when the CPI came out with the inflation, it just beasted through the previous resistance line, and now how high will gold go is anyone's guess, but when we do get a pullback, it'll be very interesting to see where the buyers are going to step up. Same thing with silver. We're at a pretty actually critical resistance point over here at, let's say, 25.50. So we have to see how the price action is going to react to these major supports and resistances. We have to see how the price action reacts with this major resistance, and then when it does pull back eventually, where those buyers are going to step up. And US oil is now looking like it's in a little bit of a channel. So has it reached its peak of $85? We'll have to see if this one is going to consolidate at these prices or what. And then because if it does eventually break out of this upper channel, inflation is going to be running hot. We could also see the upwards of $88, $90, $92 potentially. But primarily, we're going to be seeing it in this channel and see if there's more pressure toward the top of the channel or toward the bottom of it. Which hopefully down, because I don't want to spend that much more on gas. Lastly, taking a look at crypto. So we reached all-time highs on Bitcoin earlier this week at around, let's say, $69,000, and we've pulled back sharply at $63,000, and now we're trading in between that at 64. So we're respecting this 20 EMA on the daily and looking at the 4-hour time frame. We have been trading pretty sideways, so nothing to report as of yet. And taking a look at Ethereum as well on the daily, this one has also retreated from its all-time highs. It's very, very, very nicely respect this 20 EMA ever since the beginning of October, so we want to see that continue, but it looks like it could have potentially ran out of momentum, as it could potentially be trading sideways, so we'll have to keep tabs on Ethereum. And lastly, at Cardano, this one is now at the bottom of our range over here. We've seen it test about 230 a couple of times in the past week, but nothing yet. I know a lot of people are excited about this one and want this one to eventually get off the ground, as most of crypto has been pretty hot over the last few weeks, except for Cardano. So we're going to have to see this one picks up any steam. Otherwise, that is the end of my video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below stocks, crypto, ETF, precious metal that you're most in. Let me know in the comments below. As always, subscribe and like, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Good luck trading.